It's preparing, it's going, says it's doing it. So
I think it's working.
all right. Well, hello, YouTube. We are here to talk about Disney today. I'm Sue. I've got Joey and Melanie here today, which is awesome. So I'm taking out my earbud right now because it's talking to me twice.
Oh, that's not fun.
How are you guys?
We're good.
We're good.
You good, Melanie?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
good,
All right.
Sue?
I'm
How
almost good. I there found the
You
mute
took.
button.
What did you do to your hair? There's no blue in it.
I
Is this
know
like?
it's like it, I went. It's summertime, so I did something super radical and I went blonde.
So
Ooh.
radical.
But next time, don't be surprised to see a lot of blue because the election. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
Oh, yeah, and I can't do color in my hair. My
No.
friend who cuts my hair said, "Yeah, your hair just wouldn't color wouldn't work, but it does work great for in blonde hair, I think." Yeah. Because a friend of mine, all summer she had hers pink.
Oh, yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cool. I've had pink before.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, it just takes a lot of bleach. You got to get the bleach in there, and then
Yeah.
you can get the blue
Well,
or the
that's
pink.
probably why, because my hair's so thin. So
Yeah,
that's not
I
gonna
would.
work.
Yeah, your hair probably wouldn't like it.
I know it would.
But you would look cute with like
I'd
some
love it. I'm
purple or
like,
something.
I
I
know I
could
told her
totally
my
see you
favorite
doing
color is
it.
green, and she goes, I don't think so. So I'm like, all right, now just stick with what I got.
Fine.
Yeah. Or wear a hat.
Yeah, right.
But
My daughter got a headband at Disneyland a couple years ago that's Hades hair. You know, the blue.
oh, fun.
Like flame hair.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a blue flame head
yeah.
with on top of the headband. It's very cool. But she usually has blue hair or purple or something anyway, so it's only just a little extra touch for her.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you guys, I think I have sent this over to my Facebook page over there so people know we're here. And hopefully Rick will come and join us live.
That would be great.
But regardless, it's always fun to see you guys. Today we're just chatting about Disney news basically, and I'm interested to kind of get you guys' reaction on some of the stuff that's been announced that was announced at D23 a few weeks ago. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff that
A
Yeah.
they've
whole bunch of
said
stuff.
is going to come to the parks. So yeah, so how much have you guys followed that?
Melanie, have you followed any of it? Are you going to be the one that's surprised about everything, or do you
Yeah,
know any
like,
of it?
ooh, yeah. No. Um, yes, I did. I did read like some of the ideas that they have, and I'm excited. I don't know that all of it will happen, but hope it will.
Yeah, awesome.
How about
Yeah,
you,
I was.
Joey? Was there some surprises?
Yeah, I was watching that week when they were making announcements, and then of course the day of the parks panel at the D23 conference, I was following on social media, and it's the very next day my YouTube was hit with a flurry of did you hear, did you hear, did you hear, and all
Yeah.
the speculation and all the hypotheses about what this means for this and that. And of course, in the following subsequent days, because the announcements were somewhat vague, and we can talk more about that. So people were speculating, but then the super nerds were getting like the ones that were there, they were taking pictures of the art, the proposed artwork for what was going to happen, and they're like, wait a second, from that angle, it looks like it's not going to be behind Big Thunder, but it's going to be where the rivers are, and all this stuff was coming out, and every conspiracy theorist, Disney fan was coming up with their own theory, so that was fun to watch. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you guys
there's a
ever
lot.
wanted to go to the conference?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
how
was
about you,
planning.
Melanie?
Oh, I'd love to go, but just trying to find time.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had planned to go in 2019, and then plans changed, and I went earlier in May instead of later in the year.
Yeah, I would like to go to the one in Anaheim sometime. But I feel like it's so geeky that that even I, who like look at this life, would
You would
still
love
be
it.
like, I'd be like, wait, what are you guys even talking about?
You two should plan to go to the next one and just lose it. Just go and just get
And
all immersed.
just nerd out.
Yeah.
I
Get your
actually,
mouse ears on and your duck feet and whatever, and go your goofy hat and your grumpy t-shirt, and go walk around and just soak it all in.
yeah, I
I
think
do
it would
I do
be,
have one of those big, tall, goofy hats I've had
oh,
with the ears.
I
I've had it for
totally.
years, but it just seems like whenever I go to either Disney World or Disneyland, it's not the weather for that. It's too hot,
Yeah.
too hot to wear that. But I could
Well,
probably find a way to look the part there. You could too, Sue.
oh yeah, I have the stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really funny. Our friends would be like, "Are you kidding me? You totally should be going to this thing." But
yeah,
so maybe someday.
yeah. I have found that not many of my friends are as crazy about Disney as I am, but that's okay.
That's why we have each other. That's how
That's
Joey and I
right.
got
That's why I love your
connected.
show.
That's right.
Yeah, we needed someone to talk to about this. Our spouses are probably real happy we have each other.
Yes,
Yeah.
All
yes.
those hours we spent during the real shutdown, like every week talking, it was like, okay, this is an hour. My husband doesn't have to listen to me talking about Disney.
I can definitely, yeah, same here. My wife is so glad I have somebody to talk to.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm not talking to her about these things because
yes.
all I get is a blank stare, some glossy eyes. And then eventually,
Oh,
about 5 minutes in, are you still talking about this? That's usually about the time
yeah.
I.
Yeah, it's an hour show. Yeah. No,
Exactly.
oh,
All
yeah,
right,
we're
well,
all in the
we
same boat.
can vicariously go to D23 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we can talk about what they said. So I've got the WDW prep school post up here about the just it's got a little bit of detail, but it's mostly just a list of the different announcements. So let me see if I can just share that here with you
That's a
guys.
great
Let's
idea.
see. Um, this one. Okay. So can you guys see that screen?
Yep.
Bigger here. You're getting all their
yay.
ads too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just why don't we just go through the list? It's starting in Disney World. So there's a lot. First of all, there's a ton of stuff announced for Disney World, and all of this is like years away, but they claim it's really gonna happen. They say this every single time. So whether it is or not, we'll see. But so the first thing these guys listed, which is a pretty big deal, this is the Villains Land. So finally we get a Villains Land. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's awesome. I think there's tons of villains fans out there. I'm not a villains fan, but I think that I mean I'm very curious. I'd love to go to Villains Land.
Yeah. I think this is definitely a response to Universal
That's
because
what it seems like.
yeah, they're gonna have I wouldn't say it's a villain's land, but it's a monster's land, right? And so this seems like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they're putting in a Monsters Land that's going to be pretty spooky, actually. I have a feeling Disney won't go so goth.
Yeah.
Um, but this does look really cool. This, though, in terms of sort of stuff we've talked about before, Joey, this is the Beyond Big Thunder land,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I have a feeling
So,
this is gonna be north end of Tom Sawyer's or Tom Sawyer's Island, Rivers of America, over by the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, that would make sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the
it would.
villains.
It would. The theming would fit there. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And you wouldn't think this, but the thing I'm most excited about for this is actually the restaurant.
let's see if they've got any notes. It says it's going to have 2 attractions, dining and shopping. So what do you think the restaurant's going to be?
No idea. I just imagine that it's going to probably be a pretty hard to access, reservation only kind of deal, and that your server is going to be Maleficent or
Yeah.
something, and it's
Or character dining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I think of a restaurant with villains, the first thing that pops in my head is that scene in The Emperor's New Groove where Kronk gets by and runs the restaurant where Yzma's. You guys know
The little
that scene.
diner. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's the restaurant I want to go to. And I want the complete with the birthday cake that comes and the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think if I was a betting man, I would say that it should be Haunted Mansion themed.
That totally makes sense. Yeah.
Because who wouldn't want to go? Because you have the dining room scene, right? Who wouldn't want to go and actually sit and have that the organ music and the Pepper's ghosts effect while you're sitting there eating? There's ghosts and there's it's ghouly and scary, and the wallpaper has eyeballs and the clock has a claw hand. I mean, that to me would be the coolest thing to have.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I don't think I'd leave. They'd have to kick me out of there.
45-minute minimum. Yeah.
That's right. That's
like
all you get.
Keep
it moving, keep it moving.
Exactly.
You just make reservations for the whole day. Just book the whole every 45-minute segment. I'm not leaving. I have a reservation.
Just keep buying those drinks, I guess.
And I definitely think they should serve alcohol in a restaurant that's themed around villains. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and they should do the drinks with the white little like dry ice smoke kind of coming out and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And or something similar to that drink that I had at the Tiki.
Yes,
where you can throw the cinnamon and make it,
spark. Like it'd be magic. Yeah. So I think this is cool, and I agree. It's sort of an answer to Universal because, especially Magic. This is in Magic Kingdom, and it's sort of people think of it as it's fantasy land, it's princesses, and it's all that kind of stuff. And so I think it's kind of neat that they're putting in this darker side, corner.
Yeah.
So that's coming. Opening date TBA. What do you guys think? At least a few years. That's huge.
At least.
Yeah.
A whole land.
Maybe even 2030. I mean, when you consider all the other things that they've been building in mass, it takes them a long time to build anything. Yeah. I mean, they started Galaxy's Edge in 2015. It was 2019 when it finally, and it was only halfway built. So, there's going to be a lot. It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to build it. If they're going to fill in the Rivers of America, that's a lot of work too.
Oh yeah, that spoiler alert. We're coming to that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Apparently a nighttime parade is coming. This kind of got I did not even see this because this is not the big news coming out of there, but a new nighttime parade, which probably is going to be really cool. I mean, the new lighting technology and stuff that's out there, it's not going to be our old electrical light parade.
But I love that parade.
Did either of you see Light Magic in the late 90s, about 25 years ago?
No.
They had a parade called Light Magic. It lasted 1 year. And it was kind of Tinkerbell themed, but it was at nighttime. It was a nighttime parade. And it was sort of a parade and a stage show in one. It was stopped in 2 different places. It's part of the reason why that area in front of Small World at Disneyland got a redo with they widened the road and they put in those elevated standing areas on the sides because that's one of the places where it was going to stop, and then the other place was on Main Street. But it had some really great lighting technology in that, and that was 25 years ago. So I can only imagine what they have now to work with.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it'd be really cool if they were able to incorporate drones into it too. But I don't think they're going to put the drones over the crowd like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's supposed to be this coming summer. So that's 100% an answer to Universal because Epic Universe is gonna be open by then,
Yeah.
and Disney's got to have something new.
Yeah.
So a parade they can do fairly quickly.
Hmm.
So okay, all right. Oh, this is this excites me. A tavern themed to the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks cool.
I probably can't make that picture any bigger. That
Oh, like
is going to be
bogas.
super
Yeah.
cool.
And Skipper's Canteen, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's so much you can. Aren't they doing that on one of the cruise ships? I think they're putting a pirate themed lounge on one of those ships too.
That
It's
makes
like a
sense.
no-brainer. I mean, why wouldn't you have a tavern if you have the pirates?
And you're going to the Caribbean. I mean, kind
Yeah.
Right.
of, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Well, and
And they
have you guys been on a Disney cruise?
no, no, I haven't.
Okay, wow, definitely make time for that. The Pirate Night
Oh,
is
that sounds fun.
that's the firework night, and the band comes out and plays. The whole deck is rocking, and they put on a fireworks show. What's great is that they put on the fireworks show. They're the only boat out there that does it. So all the other cruise lines, the Carnivals and the you know, they all float around and get the Disney fireworks show from their boat.
Oh,
So
that's
you look out.
awesome.
You look out on the horizon and it's just dotted with all the cruise ships, and then you're the one that's shooting off all the fireworks. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's still a lot of fun. It's a great party.
That sounds really fun. I know you're in the Caribbean when you're doing that. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah,
You
people
should.
dress up. The band is all dressed up like pirates, and they're singing "Yo ho, yo ho," and having a pirate's life. It's fun.
Oh, that
Which
sounds
year
fun.
did you do that?
Just a couple of years ago, 22 October of 2022.
22. Okay.
Yeah. So we went to Florida September, late September of 2022, and then we went back in March of 23. So yeah, it was just Cheryl and me, just the two of us. We went on.
Just yeah.
We did a 3 day on the Disney Wish, and so that was a lot of fun.
Oh, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
I just had forgotten. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. 3 days doesn't seem like enough, but it's nice that you can kind of get a little taster by just doing
Yeah.
a short one. It's not a big commitment. It's not as much money, and it's you can just go for a long weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. And it was you know, the why am I blanking on it now? Disney Dish
Oh
did
yeah, that's
a
the
cruise. So it
podcast.
was the whole there was like 70 of us that were all there for uh Len and Jim, and got to hang out with them and have meals with them. They did a podcast recording in one of the theaters. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a kind of trip I definitely want to do sometime.
Bucket list.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can have our own. We'll be the ones. Everybody will come to see us on the ship.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Just send us a message if you want to do that. We'll figure it out.
All four of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay. Here's another one. This is a big one. Cars themed addition to Frontierland.
Yeah.
So it's not supposed to be the same as in California Adventure, although I'd have to say it's pretty similar. But the biggest news about this is how it affects Frontierland. So first of all, I think Frontierland's going to turn into Radiator Springs, don't you guys?
No, from what I understand, again, this is completely speculative because we don't really know the full details. I believe they're keeping Big Thunder, and they're going to keep Tiana's, right?
Right.
Bayou Adventure. So what I've heard, and it may be different than what you've heard, is that they're going to fill in the rivers of America, and this is where that's going to go. Either that or it's going to go behind Big Thunder. But I think that you're going to have a whole new Cars themed land, and it's interesting here that it says it's an addition to Frontierland because until now I hadn't actually heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Maybe this is new news.
well, I think that is how Disney announced it. And that's probably why I was thinking, okay, what's happening to Frontierland? But then in the next like week or so, then all speculation started happening about, well, how this is big, like it seems like it's going to be as big as the ride in California, which, that's a large amount of space that takes. And so it's like either it just goes erases Frontierland or he finds some other place to put it. And like you were just saying, Joey, now they're saying that they're going, I believe Disney has actually verified that they're going to take away the rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island and they're going to put this there.
Hmm.
So,
All right. I hadn't heard it was official, but okay. Now we know.
yeah, I believe that if you want to go ride the riverboat in Florida, you got it probably another year at least, though. I don't know how quickly this is going to happen.
Yeah, one of the things that we feel like Disney heard was that in the past they'd make announcements they were blue sky, right? They'd even use that kind of terminology when they'd bring out the Imagineers or blue sky imagining this new theater or this new land or this new attraction. And when Josh D'Amaro was making these announcements at the D23, and you can go watch the announcements on YouTube, um, he was saying things like, "We've broke ground, we have budgets, we have finalized approval. Leadership's on board with these plans." It's not just a he wanted to make it very clear these aren't just blue sky ideas. These are things that are in development at some stage, and in some cases, we've even broken ground on. And I thought that was really interesting because to me, it was an indication that he hears, or if not him, somebody
Yeah,
has heard, our cries of, we're tired of them saying that they're going to do this thing that they never actually do because the
right.
reality is they're just trying to get us hyped about it. So, and they may still be doing that. just they're just not saying blue sky anymore because they know that we're tired of hearing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know though. I think this is happening one way or the other because Cars is it's crazy not to have Cars down there in Orlando. It's just such a popular franchise.
Hmm.
So, and it totally does fit with like that whole like kind of open west, you
Yep.
know, on the range sort of thing. So, um, so I don't know how it fits into like the timeline of what Frontierland's supposed to be, but it's cars that talk. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like
Well, it
suspend
says
disbelief.
thrilling rally race, which is kind of what Radiator Springs is in California Adventure. So
Exactly.
that even though it says it's going to be different, I'm not sure about that. Because I mean, the Radiator Springs is so popular, you'd think that they would, try to do it like that.
Yeah, I bet you it's gonna be pretty similar.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's kind of cool if they make it a little bit different too, you
Well,
know.
of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And they can because they're gonna build this whole thing however they want. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, that's coming, but that has caused a lot of consternation because of this idea that something that's been there since day one is going to go away. But it's not going away from Disneyland. There's no talk about like changing what's happening there. So you can still go and see the original, you know, the boats and go on the
Yep.
island and all and do the canoes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you'll have to go to California. So,
Yeah.
so rest in peace, drivers of America.
Well, and
Okay.
it did say there that it was, going to begin construction early 2025. So that's
Yeah,
not
it's
that far off. So maybe we'll
isn't.
be getting some more news on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what they're trying to do is set up lay the deck so that every 3 weeks they're going to probably have a big announcement, because that's going to keep the eyes on them, the eyes off of Universal.
Universal,
Even
yeah.
if Universal steals a little bit of that, which they will with the opening of Epic Universe, Disney's going to be right behind them with, you're seeing that right now, of course, in politics. Every time one party has a big announcement, the next party, the very next day, oh, we have a big announcement too. Look at us. And
Yeah,
so you're going to
exactly.
see that with Disney and Universal big time in
Yeah.
2025. There's going to be this real pull. And I think Universal's got the same strategy. They're going to be like,
Mhm.
hey, we're opening. And Disney's going to go, well, we did something new. And then Universal's going to go, we're going to add this. And Disney's going to, well, we're doing this. And you're going to see a lot
Yeah.
of that happen next year. It should be
Yeah.
fun for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It should all be exciting news. The hardest part is when they're like, yeah, we're doing this, but you have to wait 5 years.
Right. How
But
about you just don't tell us what it is? Just put the boards up.
I
Say
mean,
something new is
right?
coming. Let us wonder, and then announce it when you drop the boards.
That would be amazing,
Yeah.
actually. Okay, here's another. I guess Disney figured out that people like bars because they're
Hmm.
making another one here inspired by Spaceship Earth, but apparently there's not really much detail. So whether it's actually happening whenever there's like no detail, it's kind of like, are you really doing this or not?
Yeah, I love how they're like, we're gonna open up a lounge based on a 50-year-old dark.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone was asking for this lounge.
No. I think when you get off the ride and you go through that area that has the really outdated games.
Yeah.
They're probably going to use a portion of that, if not all of that, to build this out. And they're just going to funnel the kids out, and mom and dad are going to be, okay, well, Johnny, you take your siblings and go ride Guardians, and mom and dad are going to go. We have to have a conversation about the budget for the trip over cocktails.
Well, it shows uh yeah, like there's a fireworks viewing. So I'm trying to think.
Oh, you're right. There's like a window over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be a window,
Oh,
maybe a screen. It may be the backside of Spaceship Earth looking out, between the two Communicore buildings out toward, the lagoon. So,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
well,
lake.
that'd be cool if it had a view out over the park.
Yeah.
Anything with the view out over the park, I think it's really nice.
Also hard
what's
to get reservations. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It says 2025, so I guess we'll find out more about this fairly
Yeah,
soon.
that's next year.
I know. Okay, reimagine test track. Oh, this is already happening. So test track's already under
Yeah.
construction.
Test Track 4.0.
Yeah, 6 distinct exhibits in the queue and new show scenes. So that's not very much information. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sure it's going to be a nice update because that one did need an update.
Yeah.
Well, remember they announced that Spaceship Earth was going to get an update years ago, like 2019. And we still haven't seen that. Hasn't closed. Now we're getting a lounge instead, and we're getting a test track redo. So I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a lot of stuff got just kind of sidetracked when the pandemic came, but
True.
Test Track has a sponsor. Does Spaceship Earth have a corporate sponsor anymore?
It did at one point, but I don't remember if it does now.
Yeah. So some of that's probably asking Chevrolet to pony up some money. So yeah, I think that's going to be good. That ride was always like, I hope they do something to like cover the track or something because the weather affects that ride's operations so
Yeah, it
often.
poses. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you'll try to rope drop it and it won't be open. Same with Radiator Springs racers in California. It's like that too because it's the same kind of ride. So, okay, now here's another big one. I know I'm excited about this too. Okay, so Hollywood Studios is getting a Monsters Inc. land. They're getting a Monstropolis, you guys.
Where do you think that's going to go in? I have two
know.
ideas.
That's the Blah, blah, blah.
All right. I think we're gonna lose something. Or it's gonna, is it gonna go down by Tower of Terror, north of that, where you've got Rock and Roller Coaster, and the Rock and Roller Coaster is gonna become a new Monsters roller coaster or something like that? Or is it gonna go over where Muppet Vision is at? And I've heard that Disney has actually come out and said it's absolutely not going where Muppet Vision is at. So
Yeah,
but they
I
didn't
did
say
hear
anything
that.
about Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I heard Jim and Len talking about this on their podcast. They did a little special episode about a week and a half ago. Um, there's kind of, both those options are possible. The thing is, like, the spot where I think it's like kind of the low-hanging fruit is where the Star Wars that big, what's it called, the big store that's in the back of the animation courtyard, the
Yeah,
launch bay.
Mhm.
Launch Bay.
Oh
um
yeah.
Now that Galaxy's Edge is there, it's kind of weird that they still have that launch
Hmm.
bay, and there's not much going on in that animation courtyard. And I guess the back of that launch bay is like parking lot for the executives, so you have to convince them. And it kind of connects to where the Rock and Roller Coaster is. So like that, it's like it makes sense. It's probably not a very high performing thing that's in there right now, their space. So they could put it there, but it sounds like it's going to be really big. It doesn't really say it in this little blurb, but something I read said that it's going to feel like you're in Monsters Land. Like the buildings are going to be tall. It's going to be like feel like full size. And so you'd need a lot of space for that. And that
Hmm.
where the Muppets are, I think might have more space. So I don't know, but the coolest part is we're getting the Doors coaster. You get to ride on the door.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I mean, it didn't you when you saw that movie the first time, weren't you like, that's a
That,
ride?
yeah,
Yep.
100%.
Yep, that's got to be the ride. And then when they and then at California Adventure when they just opened the little, it's a very cute ride, but
Yeah,
oh my daughter, she was so
I
disappointed.
know.
It's her favorite movie, and it's just a little,
Yeah,
little.
I know.
So
Yeah.
definitely excited about this one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope they have the sushi place, the whatever what's the name of this?
Harryhausen's.
Harryhausen's.
Yes.
I love this movie. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Melanie and I were talking before you popped on, Joey, about how our kids were born at the exact right time for this. This is one of those movies we saw,
yeah.
we saw it ourselves a million times, I could quote every line in it. So yeah, so this is very exciting. They say construction is supposed to begin next year. So I guess I'll bet you we're at least a year away from finding out where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that the animation courtyard and there's like a theater over there that tells the Walt Disney story, and the
Yeah,
Voyage of the Little Mermaid, all that stuff just needs to go. And
I
the
think you
problem
could.
with what's
Yeah.
that?
Oh, well, I think you could do that. Yeah.
The problem with Hollywood Studios is it's landlocked. You got World Drive right behind it.
Mm,
You've got
Yep.
East Buena Vista Drive to the north. There is land to the south, but that's on the other side of the parking lot because the parking lot kind of bows around it. It's
mm,
they could take that chunk of parking lot out, but then it would be behind Galaxy's Edge. It's not a yeah, it's a challenging piece of land for them to develop, and they need to add more lands to Hollywood Studios to make it more of a full day park.
Yeah.
yeah. I think adding this in there, that's a really smart move.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, Smuggler's Run is getting a Mando and Grogu mission.
Oh, fun.
So that's nice. It says 2026. I guess it takes a lot to build that out, but It feels
Yeah.
to me, as not an expert in that, I'm like, isn't this just like in a new gaming cartridge and you stick it in there and now you
Right.
have that game?
You actually have to write all of the software for all of that, and they probably there's probably animation, if not actual photography that needs to be done. Probably most of it, probably 100% of it's going to be animated. But yeah, then you're talking about super powerful computers, right? These real-time computer engines. That's not a generalized thing. That's a specialty, and those people are probably very expensive. And to get it right and test it out is probably going to take that long.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
surprised that they didn't, as soon as you had Mandalorian season two, they should have started working on something like this. But I think they're at the time they were still holding to this concept of keeping Galaxy's Edge in a particular place and time, and I just don't
hmm
think that that's feasible
yeah.
long term.
No, people want to see Mando and Grogu walk through Galaxy's Edge now. Um,
Yeah.
so they've decided, okay, they're part of it. So why wouldn't we put it in there?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So that's fun. So that's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, now Animal Kingdom's got a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
Yes.
Although they're like, if you look at these dates, I think these guys kind of put it in the order of when it's supposed to happen. So this is a few more
Okay. Yeah.
years out. Um,
Mm.
so they're taking away Dino Land USA, which I think most everything's already closed there, but except for the dinosaur ride. So that's not new news, but what's coming is kind of it's nice to have a little more detail. So they are putting in the house. They're putting in a whole like Encanto land sort of thing.
Mhm.
I think they're putting in actually the house of the family from Encanto. And let's see.
How great would
They're
that be to
calling it
walk around the house, right? That would be
I
cool.
know. Yeah, I think that would be a neat ride.
Yeah. I think
There's
I
a
read somewhere it was going to be a ride.
yeah, I think there's going to
Um,
be a ride. In in Hollywood, Universal Studios Hollywood, there's a Secret Life of Pets ride that takes you through this house and all the dogs and stuff are in there. And when I think about this, I wonder if it's going to feel sort of like that.
Hmm.
But it could also be more like a haunted mansion kind of not haunted, but like that kind of a
yeah.
ride through a
Yeah.
house.
Actually, what I read was a journey through the house.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so you get in there and there's scenes in because remember in the house when they open the door to the bedrooms, there's like a whole world inside of them.
That,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
So there's
And
a lot they could do with that.
you have to have Bruno.
Yeah, and
Well,
you have
sorry, we
to
don't talk about
Bruno.
Bruno.
I knew that was coming.
Had to get it in there.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's be cool. Oh yeah, here, sorry, kind of skipped there. I'll go back
Let's
to
go.
the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in Kanto, so we ride through um the magical casita and you go into Antonio's room, which is a rainforest. Let's see if there's a picture. Oh, I mean, geez, just for Instagram, look at this.
Hmm.
It's gonna be beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And the food, I can already imagine what they can
Oh,
do.
yeah.
I mean,
Empanadas.
they in California they have like a whole in California Adventure they have like this whole like kind of Latin part of the park, which is just mostly food and music, and it's so great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing that's happening is Dinosaur the ride is going away. Um, and
It's
I
about time.
Yes.
yeah, and it's going to turn into Indiana Jones, but they say it's different
Than
than
the
the
one in
Indiana
California.
Jones in California, even though it's
Same
the
track,
exact same. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but the story and the adventure and the different scenes are going to be they'll have different skins than the one in
Yeah.
California. That'd be great because if you're a fan of California, Indiana Jones Adventure is amazing, and it's one of my all-time favorite rides. So
Me
knowing that
too.
there's even if though it's the same track, knowing that there's going to be a different adventure that you could take by going there and riding it would be an incentive to want to go and do that.
Yep.
Oh, I think so too. I um I think a lot of people that just go to Florida, they're like, how come we can't have that too?
Mhm.
So yeah. Yeah, so that's but 2027 for all that stuff. Because there's still the dinosaur ride is still operating, I think. I think you can still go ride that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's something that
Mm.
yeah, that's been a long time coming too. The Tough to Be a Bug show already closed, I think, under the tree. Because this says it's opening, well, still not opening till next year, winter, but it's gonna be a Zootopia show in there.
That's
So that'll
great.
be fun.
Yeah.
They got their little 3D glasses, and yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to be
Judy
fun.
Hopps. Yeah,
Yeah, this poster is great.
it
It
is.
totally that totally makes sense under the tree, just to have all the animals
Yeah.
reflected, you know? I bet they'll have some cool characters to meet too. Okay, now, so that's Disney World. Do you guys have any other comments about all that?
Nope.
I don't
Okay,
think so.
there's a lot. Okay, so Disneyland is getting some stuff too. Their information's even more vague than Disney World, from what I can tell.
Is that
So,
possible?
and some of it's like stuff people sort of expected. Okay, so they say they're doing an Avatar attraction.
A
Um,
land.
it-
Oh, it says new
yeah,
attraction here, but yeah,
yeah. This is the thing. We don't really know.
that's true.
But it
Yeah, this
looks like
is
it's going to be at least a water ride. And so I have no idea. I mean, what would be really cool, like just looking from this art, is if you've ever seen video of the Pirates ride
Pirates.
in,
Yeah.
yeah, Shanghai, I think it is, where it
Yeah, that's
feels
what I've
like you've
heard.
gone underwater.
I've
Like
heard that
that would be
that's
cool.
kind of, did they talk about that with Jim and Len on Disney Dish?
No,
Because
I
that
don't think so.
that is what I've heard is the scuttlebutt is that it's going to use the same technology that the Pirates ride uses, where you go backwards and underwater and do all this crazy stuff in a boat. So yeah.
That would be really neat. This doesn't even have an opening date though. And I
So
don't even know,
2037.
yeah.
yeah, where this is gonna go or
I
anything.
predict this one's going to get canceled and something else is going to go there. So that's what I'm.
You're
Anybody
yeah.
wants to combat me on that?
No, I don't. I think I would agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
when
mean, because
there's
Way of
no
Water came
opening
out
date.
what 2 years ago. There's still two more or three more Avatar movies coming, and I'm sure it'll if it does go through, I think they'll. I don't know. I mean, it made a lot of money, right? It made like over $1 billion, but I don't know if I just don't know if the Avatar, and I love Avatar, so I don't know if the Avatar brand's gonna have the same gravitas in 10 years from now as it does right now.
Yeah. But if you built a ride like what we were just discussing, no one would care
Yeah,
because the ride would be so cool.
yeah.
So, um,
And they could skin it after anything they want. So
yeah, but how expensive is it to build a ride like that? You better make sure it's stuff someone's interested in. So
that's
I'm
true.
Yeah.
distracted by this puppy now that came onto our
Scroll,
screen.
Yeah.
scroll.
Well,
Oh,
that's
it's
why
still
they
He
put
there.
him
won't
over
go
there.
away. He's still there. Oh, he's gone. Okay, Coco ride beginning in 2026.
Another boat ride.
Yeah, and I'm gonna guess this is going where in that spot where I was saying is already kind of Latin American oriented. Like that would
Mhm.
make sense. But we don't know. I think these are in California Adventure, but it doesn't say where. So
Mm.
Yeah. I liked Coco, so I think that'd be a fun ride.
me
That
too.
movie was great.
Hmm. And it's just
Yeah.
so beautiful, like this
Yeah.
world to be in a ride where you're immersed into it. Just it just sounds really great. Okay, now also Avengers Campus is getting expanded, and they've already kind of started some of this construction because they're building a new like e-ticket ride in apparently inside that huge building that the Quinjet sits on top is finally going to get a ride.
Oh.
Yeah, and it is supposedly a situation where Thanos has not been defeated. So it's like a different timeline in
It's
the
a
multiverse or
multiverse thing, yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that way they can bring back whatever characters they want.
Oh.
So I think there's a little oh yeah, okay, so this one we don't really know a lot of details about what it looks like. This other one, they're putting in the Stark Flight Lab, which to me looks like the Harry Potter Forbidden Journey ride. Like you can't tell, but that's what you're on the Harry Potter ride. Um, so we'll see. But I believe that the that first attraction, this one up here, this is the one that's going to go in the big building that's already there, and the second one is going somewhere else. And it looks like they're going to expand Avengers Campus out, out towards that Hollywood Boulevard area. And I just saw that the Disney Tourist blog said that they're closing the trolley down at California
Oh.
Adventure for construction. And he's predicting that they aren't going to bring it back because
Mhm.
the trolley barn is right where this sort of stuff would go.
Oh, well,
Interesting.
So that's kind of sad because I think the red trolley is really a fun
it's
feature of,
yeah.
you know, so
Mhm.
so yeah, but more Avengers and Iron Man just never dies.
Because he makes money.
Dark Light Lab.
Yeah, I guess they're bringing back Tony Stark for this
Well,
thing, and Tony Stark's one of my least favorite Avengers characters.
oh, that's so funny. They brought back RDJ for, the next two Avengers films as the villain, so it makes
I
sense that.
know. Everybody they loves him, but I mean, I'm not nothing against him personally, but that Tony Stark character, no, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, Disneyland. I don't think Disneyland is getting very much new, but one thing they're getting is the this Walt Disney animatronic kind of great moments with Mr. Lincoln, except for great moments with Walt Disney. So,
Mhm.
question for you guys, creepy or not?
The man who pioneered AA technology becoming an AA figure himself, I think it's quite touching, actually.
I
And
I like it.
Okay, good.
I mean,
I think they should make
mm,
it so good that they could start doing the what was it, the what was the show that he used to do, the Magic of Walt Disney or something
Yeah,
on
why
Sunday
Wide
nights,
World of
the
Disney or
Wide
whatever,
World of
or
Disney,
what was
yeah,
called,
Wild World of
whatever.
Disney on
and
ABC.
and have the AA figure with like where they could script in and it speaks in Walt's voice with Walt's cadence, and he's like, "Well,
Yeah.
welcome to my little workshop, and today we're going to be talking about what's coming new to Disney's Hollywood Studios." I think that'd be great.
Well, we'll see
I've never
what
seen
they
it
do.
personally because my feet are glued to the ground because I have electric cable shoved up my pant leg. Whatever, but
Oh,
I think it's
Yeah.
cool. It's one of the few things that I think I would actually make a trip to California for.
yeah.
Is
Well, that's cool.
once that opens, yeah.
Yeah, I did hear that some member of the family said they didn't think it was cool. Like they were like,
Big
Uncle
surprise.
Walt's. Yeah, but there's always someone, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's more relevant than Mr. President Lincoln is. these
Well, and
Yeah.
days.
that poor theater sits empty 90% of the time, right? I
Yeah.
mean, put something, and I don't think this is going to be a huge draw. But the thing about Disneyland is it really is for, I mean, a large percentage of the annual pass holders anyway are, Disney fanatics of the
Yeah.
man, the mind behind it all, not just going to Disneyland. And so, yeah, I think that'll be a draw. But and dads and moms will drag their poor little kids, their 7-year-old to this. And when their kids are adults, then you know what, you probably won't care for this, but I'm going to drag you in there, when they have kids, because that'll be this thing
Yeah.
that they'll remember. But yeah, I think it's sweet. I think it's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But yeah, I hope it gets done. It's another one of those. They have announced things at this theater many, many times, and they
Mhm.
just never came to fruition. So I hope this happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this says 2025, so we'll see. And I did read that the Imagineers involved are all like it's a labor of love. They probably
Of
have
course.
wanted to make something like this for decades. They
Yeah.
probably did just have to wait for permission from somebody. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Disneyland's getting the new Smuggler's Run
Also,
Grogu.
okay,
Yeah,
good.
nice. And here's something that's really
Oh,
happening.
Tiana's
We
is
get
finally,
Tiana's Bayou Adventure this fall. So
It
that's
actually has
great.
a day, like a date instead
Yeah,
of
right
a,
before
yeah.
Thanksgiving. This is actually a great week to be there. That's like when I went a couple years ago during the Christmas
right
season.
before the Thanksgiving
It's
break.
not crowded, and the weather down there is still pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. That's it. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Um, wow. So that's a lot. And that's the parks. They also announced a bunch of, they announced they're like building 2 more cruise ships.
Mhm.
And I think like there was other stuff too that
Like
they,
Frozen 3, right?
yeah. And then of course,
Yeah.
there's new
There's
movies
Yeah,
movies, yeah.
Frozen 3. They said 2027, I think. Yeah.
okay.
So I
Yeah.
look forward to that. I love the Frozen
Yeah.
movies.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, so lots to look forward to, you guys. I guess we got a reason to we certainly have lots to talk about going forward.
Yeah.
So when do you go on your trip?
So I am going in 2 weeks. Well, actually less than that now.
Oh, wow. Fun.
Yeah, to Disneyland, and we're gonna do the Oogie Boogie Bash. So
Oh, that's gonna be
next time
fun.
we talk, I'll give you guys the report.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yeah,
be
looking
fun.
forward
I'm
to that.
working
Take
on
lots of
my
pictures.
I'll take a ton of pictures. I'm working on my costume right now. I'm gonna be Zero.
Oh.
Nice.
And my daughter's gonna be the mayor from
Oh,
Halloween Town.
oh gosh.
So
That's a big costume.
I know she made
That is a
herself a
big
little
costume.
teeny top hat though,
Wow,
Oh,
because
of
we're
nice.
like,
course.
how are we gonna get all this stuff down there?
I assume you fly.
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
flying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's coming up. So I'm excited about that. And so yeah, we'll talk in a few weeks and I'll tell you guys what happened. And
Yeah.
watch my Instagram and stuff,
Absolutely.
as always.
Yay.
All right, you guys, thank you for joining me. This is really great because like we said before, we don't have a lot of people to talk to about all this stuff, and it's really fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for
And
keeping this going, Sue.
Yeah.
yeah, thanks to you guys too. And thank you to Rick. If you were commenting, I had my screen on screen share. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I didn't see any comments on Facebook. I was
Maybe on
kind
the
of keeping an eye,
YouTube.
on the ghosts too.
Thanks to anybody who watched and for joining us. And please, we will notice your comments. If you make notes there, we'll come back and check it. So, all right.